Chapter 3, The Messy Desk Pest. The desk in the fourth row by the bulletin board belonged to Emily. And although Emily was the tidiest girl at W.T. Mellon Elementary School, who washed her short blonde hair each morning and scrubbed her hands before every meal and polished her teeth each evening, and although Emily wore the cleanest clothes to school, spotless t-shirts, immaculate blue jeans, and the whitest tennis shoes, and although Emily used the neatest handwriting in all of her schoolwork and turned in the most orderly math papers, her desk was the messiest desk in the room at the end of the hall. Not once since the beginning of September had Emily cleaned out her desk. So much junk was collected inside that 6 weeks ago the lid refused to come within 6 inches of closing. One morning in early October, the tall teacher leaned against his large metal desk with a mug of coffee in his hand, as he did every morning and every school day. He checked the clock above the bulletin board and yawned. He took a long slug of coffee and studied his class. He checked the clock one more time before saying, "Good morning, people. Happy Friday. Time for our spelling test. Please take out your pencils." Low noises, 1/3 groans, 1/3 grumbles, and 1/3 gripes rose from the class. Emily heaved a long sigh. Whenever she sighed, she had a habit of blowing upward with her lower lip in the way that steamed up the round lenses of her glasses. As her glasses cleared, she lifted the lid of her messy desk. Somewhere in this incredible clutter was a sharp pencil. "Well, here goes," she said, and with both hands she plowed through the rubbish. The wads of paper, busted crayons, unfinished math sheets, a brown apple core, an empty milk carton fuzzy with mold, 4 overdue library books, 3 dirty socks, her bug collection, 126 pennies, 3 troll dolls, 2 bloody Band-Aids, 2 hard Twinkies, a brown glob that used to be a Hershey bar, a tennis ball, a golf ball, a mothball, 5 mittens, the head of a Barbie doll, 6 hairbands, a dozen seashells, a 4-foot-long gum wrapper necklace, 53 pieces of gum without wrappers, chicken bones, 2 rubber rats, a squirt gun, and goodness knows what else. Beside her glue-covered scissors, she found the pencil, but its tip was broken. Emily rushed the pencil sharpener. "How odd," she said, turning the crank. "I just sharpened my pencils this morning." By the time Emily had returned to her desk and numbered her spelling paper from 1 to 20, the tall teacher was calling out the first spelling word. There. There are 20 words on this test. There. Emily blew some eraser crumbs off her spelling sheet and fixed her glasses more firmly on her nose. There, she told herself. Cinch to spell. But the instant her pencil touched the paper, her desk popped open an inch and cracked down again. "Hey!" Emily shouted, and every head in the classroom turned toward her. At the front of the room, the tall teacher looked up from his spelling list. He glared at Emily with his famous stare, one eyebrow raised, one eye slightly squinted. He knew to look at a student to get his message across without saying a word. But there she stopped. The look on her teacher's face suggested that she should let him continue with the test. "Next word," said the tall teacher. "There." They sat at their desks without making a sound. There. Emily was unable to write. Scuffling and scraping sounds, gnawing and chewing sounds, snapping and ripping sounds rose from the inside of her desk. She put her ear to the desktop. "Something is in there," she murmured, scarcely able to breathe. "Something is moving around. Something is eating the things in my desk." And with both hands, she flung the lid open. Inside the desk, next to a half-eaten tangerine, sat a squat, hairy white creature about the size of a potato. "Hey!" Emily cried, and the lid closed with a bang. Again, all heads turned toward Emily. Again, the tall teacher's eyes fell on the desk in the fourth row by the bulletin board. But this time his ears were red, and everyone in the class was familiar with the saying, often repeated as a jump roping chant of the playground. When the tall teacher's ears turn red, big trouble lies ahead. When the tall teacher's ears turn white, things will be all right. Emily stared at their teacher's ears. There's something inside my desk," she stuttered. The tall teacher placed his spelling list on his desk and calmly strolled back to the fourth row. In slow, measured words, he said, "I agree, Emily. I know there is something in your desk. There are many, many things in there. That desk is a mess, a dumpster. It is a disgrace. How many times have I asked you to clean out that desk? How many times has the entire class had to wait while you searched for something in that trash pile? So, Emily, next recess, you will remain in this room, cleaning out that desk. Understood?" Emily nodded. She let out a long sigh, and through foggy glasses, she watched the tall teacher return to the front of the room. She thought, for a teacher who is usually very understanding, why can't he be understanding right now? "Third words," the tall teacher called out. "There. They're trying to take a spelling test. There." Although the scratching, tearing, munching, and crackling sounds continued to come from her desk, Emily caused no more interruptions. When the bell rang for recess and the rest of the class stampeded out the door, Emily watched the tall teacher pick up the wastebasket. He walked back to her desk and plopped the metal can at her feet. "Here you go, Emily. Start bulldozing," he said. "By the end of recess, I want to see that desk tidy, not a scrap, not an item that doesn't belong in there, understand?" And with that, he grabbed his coffee mug off his desk and left the room. Left alone, Emily gripped her desktop with both hands. She opened it an inch. Scooting her chair far back, she peered through the dark crack. "All right, you," she whispered. "What's going on in there?" "Hardy har har, hardy har," came a reply from behind a lump of clay. Tense, Emily raised the lid some more. She leaned forward for a closer look, her head propped up on the desktop. "Who's in there?" she said. "Who's in my desk?" Some papers rustled, the clay rolled to one side, and the hairy white creature reappeared. Its piggy snout sniffed the air. Its short hamster ears twitched. When the thing grinned, Emily inspected its full set of rat-like teeth champing down upon the stub of her brown crayon. Spellbound, Emily watched as the creature climbed into the math book. With a long, wiry arm, it reached up and squeezed her nose. Emily jerked her head back. "Hey!" she shouted. "Hardy har har, hardy har," repeated the creature at the desktop, slammed shut. Emily rubbed her nose. She was steamed. She yanked open the desk again and snarled, "Hey, you! Just what are you doing inside my desk?" The creature grinned again. In a deep, gravelly voice, it sang, "I am the messy desk pest, and I make myself a guest in any desk that is messed." "Well, pest," said Emily, "you can't stay in here. I'll be in big trouble if this desk isn't cleaned out by the end of the recess." "Hardy har har, hardy har," said the messy desk pest. "Too bad for you. This is my home now," and it grabbed Emily's glue bottle, stuck it under one long arm, and squeezed. "Uh-oh," Emily muttered as the glue splurted out. Before she could slam down the desktop, one round lens of her eyeglasses became splattered with white gook. "Now what?" Emily groaned, wiping off her glasses on her sweatpants. The recess bell rang again, and soon afterward the class straggled back into the classroom. You can imagine how cross the tall teacher was when he walked up to Emily's desk and found the wastebasket still empty. Looking straight down at Emily, his ears bright red, he said through his teeth, "Emily, you will not see that playground again until your desk is clean, tidy, spick and span, spotless. Understand? The messy desk of yours will not delay our class again." Emily sighed. She slouched in her chair and waited for the steam to clear from her glasses. Math period came after recess, and the day did not improve for Emily. Each time she tried to take her math book out of her desk, the messy desk pest pinched her hand. When she tried to write the answer to 6 times 7, the pest popped up the desk, and her 42 ended up as a scribble. During the entire hour, the pest nibbling and gnawing prevented Emily from concentrating on her work. And when she finally managed to open her desk, there lay her favorite monster erasers chewed to crumbs. Even worse, the pest had worn out her new felt pens by scribbling throughout her writing journal. By lunchtime, Emily was about to explode with anger. I'm going to catch that pest if it's the last thing I do, she declared. And she spent her entire lunch period scribbling on a piece of paper, designing a plan. After lunch, while the rest of the class was on the playground, Emily sat at her messy desk. She scanned the room for what she needed. On the art table, she spied the perfect thing, popsicle sticks. She sprang to the table and grabbed a fistful of the wooden sticks along with a bottle of glue, pipe cleaners, and a ball of string. She glued popsicle sticks to popsicle stick, twisted pipe cleaners, and cut string. When she was through, she admired her craft work, a neat little cage with a door that could swing open and shut. Emily whistled softly as she blew on the cage to harden the glue. For a final touch, she stuck on bits of colored paper to give it the perfect messy appearance. Now I have a trap, she said to herself. What I need next is some bait. Here she grabbed a pencil, hustled to the sharpener, and whirled the crank until the point was extra sharp. Back at her desk, Emily sang out, "Oh, messy desk pest, I have a present for you. I have decided to let you stay and live in my messy desk." Thereupon,